Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. It's Asian in Norway. I want to talk about Norwegian privileges. Now, we have a lot of different privileges here in Norway, and most of them in the rest of the world can only dream about or fantasize about. One of the privileges I'm going to talk about today is like, if you feel tired or you are just want to take a break of your life, you can do that in Norway. In Norway, we have something called uføretrygd. Basically, translating to English means that social benefits or welfare. Uføretrygd are basically for people who can't work and due to mainly health reasons, and it can be both physically and mentally. I want to focus on the younger age group between 18 to 34, and we're gonna go through some of the statistics for 2019 because 2020 is not a very fair year to compare. So, according to the SSB, the Norwegian Statistic Bureau, for 2019, the number of people who were living on uføretrygd between the age group 18 to 34 was around 34,000 people. That is a quite high number considering the age group and the fact that you would expect that the younger they are, the healthier they are, and the more capable they are to work. But they falling into this category, uføretrygd. Now, I don't believe that all 34,000 people have a physical condition that makes them not capable of working. Well, of course, some of them do, but most of them don't have a physical problem. If we just look at the statistic for let's say car accident, for the past 5 years, those who suffer like a really bad injury due to traffic accident were somewhere around 500 to 600 people in the past 5 years. And if we look at people who got injured or died in the work-related, only 33 people died for 2019, and accidents do happen in Norway, but very few times leading to a long-term sickness. So you see, if you add the numbers, it doesn't add up. If you have 600 people who were injured for the past 5 years in the traffic, then you have 34,000 people on uføretrygd. That number is questionable if it's all physical. Let's just go a little bit into the uføretrygd on how it works. Now, basically, the way it works, if I go to my doctor tomorrow and I tell him story I am not mentally healthy, I'm depressed, I'm not happy, or whatever reason, and of course the doctor have the power to make a decision to put you in the system or not. Well, if he say yes, okay, I'll write a letter to the government and they will have to review, and after a few weeks or months, or sometimes even 6 months, but eventually you get the paperwork done, then there you go, you are on uføretrygd and then you get paid by the government. Now, I just want to be clear that for people who are living off on uføretrygd, it's not a luxury life. You don't get paid a lot of money. You only get paid enough for the necessaries like shelter, food, clothes, electric bill, phone, etc. Only covering the small basics. So you're not gonna have a super good or luxury life. Now, I'm focusing on uføretrygd for the group of young people, in the group of 18 to 34. It's pretty young. It's a perfect working age. My guess is that probably 90% is usually related to some mental problem. Obviously, now I'm not gonna judge anybody here because everybody have their personal story. I'm sure they have legit and good reasons, so I'm not gonna judge anybody here. And why I call this a Norwegian privilege to give up is because, how many countries in the world do you have a generous system like that? Okay, if you feel the pressure from school is too hard, the society expectation is too hard, you wanna give up or lay low, just take it easy, or not take it easy, but take a break from everything. So in Norway, let's just say you had a family crisis, you got into a car accident and one of your close family member dies, then you obviously gonna be, you know, mentally affected by that really hard. And of course, you can tell your boss, you can tell the government that, you know, this and that happened, I need to take some time off, and you know, you do have that benefit here. Like, okay, if a close family member dies, you are allowed to, you know, have a legal way to get, you know, sick pay. But in most of places around the world, you do not get this type of benefits like we have in Norway. I know, you know, a country back in China, or, you know, not just China, but most like poor country. A lot of bosses can say like, hey, you know what? I don't care who died in your family member, and I don't care what happened to you. Either you come to work tomorrow or I'll fire you. Which is a pretty harsh thing to say, but the reality is, you know, in most places around the world, they can, because, well, if you want to go to your local government and say, hey, I have a problem with my boss and can you help me? No, they can't do anything, and they can't give you social benefits either. And yeah, so, you know, they either have to go to work or, you know, or lose the job. Now, I want to be clear that most people in Norway, especially the younger people, no one wants to live off the welfare system. No one wants to be in the system, because it's a taboo to talk about it, and it's not something people are proud of, unless they of course have a legit reason, like if you have a physical condition, that's, you know, acceptable. But most people don't want to be in the system. Most people want to have a job, because obviously if you have a job, you get paid a lot better than than living on the system. I want to talk a little about a personal story here from me, because I can, you know, relate to a lot of these young people to a certain degree. Now, I have failed in the academics for my entire life. I get, you know, bad grades for like 10 plus years. I dropped out of university, so, you know, my record in academics are not good. And, you know, when you constantly fail year after year, and, you know, sometimes for a decade, you lose kind of a lot of motivation. You kind of stop believing in yourself. Your moral for, you know, working hard is becoming kind of very low. And they're having a lot of the times I just kind of don't want to do anything and just want to live off the system. Actually never crossed my mind. But, you know, I can understand, you know, why they kind of, a lot of young people feel the pressure is too high, because, you know, there was a time I, you know, felt the pressure was really high, especially when you have failed for, you know, a decade or longer in the academics. So I can, you know, relate to the situation, but, you know, the idea of, you know, living off the system never crossed my mind, and for some reasons I just never gave up on myself. Even though I failed in academics, I keep applying for jobs. I took whatever I could, and I, you know, did everything I could to, you know, just keep applying, and no matter how many rejection I got, you know, so even till this day I still have a lot to learn. But, you know, again, it can be really tough when you're young, and, you know, you constantly feeling like, okay, the expectation in the society is too hard for you, and so, you know, you just, you know, I don't know, you delete all your social medias, you live off welfare, you just, you know, lay on the bed watching Netflix and, you know, don't socialize. You know, it's not a good situation to be in. Sad part about all this is like, for a lot of these young people who are living off on uføretrygd, the truth is like, if they one day decide, or after like 1 or 2 years want to come out of the system and want to go back to school or work again, things are only gonna get harder and worse for them, because we have something called hull i CV in Norway. Basically means like, okay, if you have a CV, when you apply for a job, you have to show your CV. Basically, you know, the CV contains the timeline of, you know, what you've been doing, you know, what school did you go to during this and that year, what job did you have during this and that year. And for example, if there's like on your CV it says, okay, between 2015 and 2017, there is nothing between, you know, there's no record of you working, no record of you going to school, and if you get confronted with it on the interview, and never mind interview, but you know, if you apply for a job and the employer sees it, okay, this person has not been doing anything between this and that year, I'm not gonna hire that person. And I wanna end this video by telling my subscribers or people who contact me about, you know, if they're planning to relocate to Norway, one thing you have to do to increase your chances of getting a job, like now, if you have a high education, great, that's good, that's gonna help you, it's a plus. But you need to learn to speak Norwegian and write Norwegian, because you can't cut corners on this. Sure, most people here do speak English, but a lot of the places you're gonna be working with, people speak Norwegian. So if you're planning on moving to Norway for long term or for the rest of your life, you have to learn Norwegian. So guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you all for supporting me. See you next time. Bye.